It's the morning coffee time.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Are we live yet?
We are live.
We're live. Good morning. Get
Yeah.
your coffee. We got stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's burn some bridges.
Early this morning is the coffee.
Should be like Hart. Let's burn some bridges, my man. You know. Yeah.
How was everyone this morning?
We love Hart. Anyway.
Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah. If you didn't catch the show
on Tuesday,
yeah, we had Mr. Hart Fisher on.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that, please go back and take 3 hours.
Yeah.
Hold on to your seat.
Yeah, we're still apologizing for it.
Yeah, we are too. Who knew? Yeah. Who knew Hart could be controversial?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, no, not a soul knew. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Indie Vault, the breakfast buzz, and we got to talk about this morning. But first, before we talk about any of that, this is an intro.
Need to sneak that breakfast in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The breakfast buzz.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at pouring coffee. Is that what everybody else is looking at?
It is. They're looking at the current coffee. Lewis Bright Raven is joining us. Hello, Lewis. Can you hear us?
That's a lot better than having to stare at our mugs. The whole time.
Stare at the pouring coffee. It's so tranquil.
It just makes people thirsty. That's all.
Yeah.
Either that or have to go to the restroom.
Yeah. Jesse Bear says, spill that tea, as they say. Yeah, we oh my gosh, we I've already had like my shot of like energy this morning, and I use that to get my son to the bus stop. But
you gotta be careful with them energy drinks, man. I keep telling you.
Trico's in the chat along with Jesse Bird. He says, Trico says, hi guys. I'm actually catching it at the beginning this time. Welcome, Trico.
Trico needs to come back in sometime and be part of the conversation.
Yeah. As you all know, the Hart Fisher apology tour rolls on.
I had a buddy say he was able to listen for a few minutes.
Fisher.
He says, what'd you say, Lewis?
Right now, I'm feeling a little bit of Hart Fisher.
Yeah. I've only had to apologize for the F word. Yeah, there you go. You gotta we'll get you a wig, Lewis. A long.
I don't need a wig.
No, you need a long blonde wig.
No.
Man, oh man, it's been a very very busy week. Starting on Monday, week's coming to a close. But first, some introductions. If you don't know who I am, my name is Varian Grant. I'm the co-owner of Last Call Comics and founder of Indie Vault Media, which is what you're watching. You can also find that at indievolt.com. Got my start making comics in 2008. My first book was published, black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I am a father, a husband, a geek, a creator, a publisher, a very reluctant taxpayer, and artist. Shamefully not in that order. And you're watching Indie Vault Live today. Well, Indie Vault Live Breakfast Buzz anyway, right? Today, I'm joined by my usual cohorts. Who are you guys?
I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've done comics for a long time, mostly independent, alternative comics. Got printed by a lot of people, self-published a lot of times. Did the Flint Comics newspaper for the last decade here, did 100 issues of that. And right now I'm working on the Zim Geek channel on YouTube, as well as doing lots of commercial and graphic work.
And I am Lewis Bright Raven, 26-year veteran of the
I'm still on active duty.
I'm going to have to start coming back at active duty. Yeah, okay. 26-year working professional of the comic book and role-playing game and otherwise entertainment industries. And I've worked for Marvel, TSR, Wizards of the Coast, Mr. Zimmerman's Arrow Comics in the past, Caliber Press, C. Jackson Games, and numerous of other clients. Founder of Constellation Studios, former investigative journalist, which needs to be brought up now because of recent events that we've been discussing.
Why? Because you were a former investigative journalist? We need to bring that up now?
Yes, because it looks like this is going to go a little bit nastier than we thought.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But first, we got some lighthearted stuff. 1 second. I got to get some much more lighthearted stuff than
Good.
Where's my
we need some lighthearted stuff in the light of day to wake everybody up.
Yeah. We got to get everybody. I didn't now showing everyone that I am not on my game this morning. I don't have any of my questions queued up.
You don't have you have a game?
No, I don't have my questions queued up.
Oh,
but that takes like
Lewis is probably sitting on his game this morning.
Yeah, he's
at least he's not sitting on his cat. So
yeah, he's stroking his cat there like an evil.
Be nice. Remember, it's a morning.
Yeah.
At least here. Did we acknowledge the Indie Volt radio listeners?
Yeah, no, we didn't. But thank you for joining us. If you're listening on Indie Volt Radio, we appreciate it. We have. I'll look over there in a second and see how many people we have listening. Mexico for this morning. Hello, to our listeners in Mexico.
Yes.
We really appreciate you listening in. Now, let's see here. Where are my questions? There they go. Aha. Let's see here.
In case you're wondering, Yoda was up late last night. That's why he looks a little tipsy this morning. Yeah, he's got a little tipsy with him right there.
I seen Yoda went live last night. It was too late for me to see anything.
That bastard! I had to run downstairs and shut him off. Hopefully that's we've killed that stream. So.
Yeah. It's
he apologizes.
Did you guys? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. So one question. The first.
You never know, Lewis. That's why your cat's sitting there. He's learning the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later.
Yep.
Yeah. He once he knows the equipment, it's all over.
Yep.
All right, here we go. So, Randy, go ahead and read that.
Kale. Is it Kale or Kyle? Kale.
I think it's Kale. Yeah.
Kale.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mr. Zimmerman. I'll be putting my title in the mail later this month. I hope that was last month. Did this come?
This came on Monday. I mean Tuesday. Okay. I think. Well, it came on Monday. I didn't get a chance to put it on Tuesday.
Okay. Can't wait to get your signature. Can't wait to give it to you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance you might come down and do Comic-Con Honolulu sometime soon? I go wherever I'm invited. I honestly, if you have somebody at Comic-Con Honolulu that wants me there, I am very inexpensive. Well, actually living in the middle of Michigan, I'd probably be kind of expensive to fly out, but I'll go wherever I'm invited.
Yeah, all three of us would like to go, especially since I'm from Honolulu originally.
I would love to do a convention in Honolulu. It would be awesome. Yes. Yeah. But there are no plans at the moment. I barely get out of my state.
I'm not leaving the country.
Which is confusion. My
it's
state is confusion.
It's not leaving the country. I know it's not technically leaving the country. I know it's not. I know Hawaii isn't leaving the country, but I'm afraid to go travel to any place tropical right now, just because of everything that's going on. I don't want to drink some water and die.
Well, Hawaii has had their share of tragedies, but hopefully it's calmed down a lot. Since over the last year, they've had just about everything you can imagine. But, Honolulu, I would love to be there.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice doing the con there. I mean, yeah. Even if you don't make any money, you still kind of enjoy.
Oh, I wouldn't go to make money. I wouldn't go to make money. I'd just go to experience it. It'd be great.
Trico says every time someone uses the phrase "a little tipsy," they owe $1.25 for copyrights. They do.
There we go.
You know what? When I was younger, I actually really had this grand plan to copyright the term Dark Vader, because everybody I knew called him Dark Vader, and I said I'm gonna copyright that, and I want 50 cents every time someone says it.
He probably started out being Dark Vader.
Yeah.
That was probably his actual name when Lucas first created him, and
Yeah.
they switched it.
Yeah.
Ran across somebody with a lisp or something.
Darth. All right, here we go. And then our last question, because these are questions that are left over from Tuesday, because
Yeah.
we
Didn't have time.
no.
Suddenly we're 3 hours in. Yeah.
Yeah. Show was hijacked.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't really hijacked. We knew he was coming. Holy Hart effing Fisher. Now there's a guy that was way ahead of his time. Anyway, can we expect some new comic book announcements? Maybe Hart doing a book with Arrow or Last Call? David J. No. Arrow doesn't print books right now. So
yeah.
for one, and for two, Hart's bigger than all of us.
Yeah.
And
he would go on and just resurrect Boneyard Press and just print his own stuff
or another brand under him. Yeah.
And save a lot of headache. So
we know that if Hart printed the book The Last Call will be called Heartbeat Comics.
Heartbeat Comics.
Yeah. That's what Last Call will become, because I think Hart's best left to do everything the way he wants it done.
And that's the only way Hart works anyway.
Yeah.
So that's all good.
And that's why he is who he is. So yeah.
We were glad to have him on Tuesday, and it might be a while before he's back because he has no real plans for comics at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He is writing the true crime stuff. You can read that article up on the Indie Volt.
IndieVolt.com, yeah.
IndieVolt.com.
Yep. It is 18 past the hour.
But I would recommend reading anything that you can find that Hart has written, especially if you're digging through. You probably have to find them in the underground boxes at your local retailer, because the majority of the work that he does, if not all of it, is 18 and over. And it's very adult oriented.
Yeah, normally his comics are kept behind the little beaded section.
Yeah,
local.
But be ready.
Yeah,
because he writes like he talks.
Mm-hmm. We do have one question. We have a question for this morning, for everyone. I don't have a graphic, but because it's the morning show, I never did graphics for him. Have you guys ever had a situation where? Well, how many pages have you ever been into a script for a comic? How many? What's the highest amount of pages you've been in before you decide to scrap the book for whatever reason? Like the script just wasn't coming together.
Personally decided to scrap the book, or someone told us to scrap the book?
Oh, either or.
You go first, Lewis.
48 out of a 64 pager.
And were you told to scrap that?
Of what? Tell the story.
It was a Joker story for DC.
Was this the one you talked about yesterday?
Yeah. The one about where he was going to be a superhero, and unfortunately, it went through several iterations, and ultimately, the Elseworlds brand got nixed or put on hiatus or whatever, and it fell through after that. So
now, who that was pulled away from under you. That wasn't
well, I guess you could say that, but I don't. I look at it as, that one was a little bit of a weird situation, because it was 5 years back and forth with them from 98 to 2002. Because originally it was supposed to be canon, and then Denny O'Neil didn't like the idea, and then his assistant editor at the time, Dan Raspler, did like the idea. Denny left. Raspler gave it to Bob Schreck. Bob Schreck was And it was just, it was finally we got it approved through Elseworlds, and we just didn't have the art team for it at the time. And we just got the art team approved when they put Elseworlds on hiatus.
They should have called me. I'd have drew it for you. Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar.
They could have paid me like a current Marvel artist. Pennies. But yeah,
pennies.
Randy, how about you?
Pesos, not pennies.
I got 2 issues in on War of the Worlds, Memphis front, and never finished that. But I've got a lot of stuff that we completed, never saw the light of day. Quite a few issues.
I've got that book.
Material. Memphis Front. Yeah.
I've had that book. You mean tell me I'm investing in a book with no conclusion?
No, it's got a conclusion.
Okay.
I've got it plotted out. I've just never sat and scripted it and found. I got to find an artist for part 5, but I've got the first four penciled. The first 3 lettered. Issue 3 is partially inked, and the first 2 are printed.
Okay. All right.
That's the situation where that sits. But projects that I've gotten into, I got about a quarter of the way into a graphic novel I was working on, Spank the Monkey at the Strip Clubs, that I stopped in order to do the Flint Comics paper and have never gone back to. That was about a quarter of the way done. And I planned on that being a 250-page book.
I feel like I'm slacking.
So there's about 75 pages done that I still have. I have it sitting on a shelf. So
I feel like I'm slacking. I really do. I feel like I'm slacking because the longest script that I've written where I got, like, okay, this isn't working. I might have been like 10, 12 pages in. I was like, the hell with this. It's not working as a story.
Yeah.
And I walked away from it. But yeah, I mean, you guys are 48 pages in, 2 issues in with you.
2 completed issues and printed. So, and
Mm-hmm.
in fact, we went back and did a special edition of the first one. So I went back through and did a director's cut and added, I think, another 3 pages of story to it, to the first issue. Yeah.
I have to make a special announcement real quick here. I told you I was gonna do this, Randy. Everything hurts. Everything hurts so bad that I'm gonna keep going. You see, you can't stop me. I can't do this with a straight face. You can't stop me. You won't stop me.
You need more
emphasis,
more feeling.
All right.
Need to be leaning on something like a couch and wearing a comfy sweater.
All right, I'll do. Hold on 1 sec. Yeah. I'll
you gotta rub the shoulder, man.
Everything hurts.
Yeah.
The pain is relentless. Yeah. But I struggle every day just to get out of bed.
Yeah. And then and to draw these comics, which you can conveniently find at lastcallcomics.com. You can conveniently buy them. You might notice the link down there below.
Please buy them. Yeah.
Randy needs a new chair, for Christ's sakes.
Who what?
Randy needs a new chair, for Christ's sakes. He needs a new chair. He shouldn't have to live like this. He shouldn't have to stream like this.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Here I am in 2 milk crates and a pillow.
It's bullshit. It's what it is.
Just trying to get by.
It's bullshit.
Actually, I've got a dining room. I got a dining room chair right now, so it's all good.
No, it's not all good. You had to borrow that from the dining room.
I did, and I have to return it too, or else the
That's
wife will get very mad. It's part of a set.
Down the stairs.
It's part
That's
of a
horrible.
set.
Yeah. You should.
I live day to day with my ass.
Yeah.
Sore from the edge of milk crates as I work hard, slaving at my Wacom tablet, trying desperately to complete work despite my trials and tribulations. Got a show coming up on the 14th. I hope you show up.
Yeah.
We're in Flint Farmers Market, 9 to 5. Anyway,
now that we've bared our souls, now that we.
Now, a lot of people probably don't.
Lewis has no soul to bear, so it's okay.
Oh no! My soul will bear next week.
So we are. Trago says, "Don't forget to say perspective is a bitch."
So's karma. So's karma.
Yeah. That's no way to talk about Chad Gibson's character. Chad Gibson's character's name is Karma. Okay. And so I always joke about Karma being a bitch, and I'm like,
I thought that was a Marvel character from like way back when. Frank Miller created her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Karma.
I don't think. Well,
there's an annual out there with a mutant named Karma. She was part of the New Mutants for a while.
Right. But I'm trying to think. Did Frank Miller create her, or did Chris Claremont? And
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was an annual that Miller wrote and drew.
Okay.
I know he at least drew it. Somebody's calling early in the morning.
Yeah, I was. Let's see. Okay. All right, so there we go. It's funny. You know what I realized? We have standards and practices.
Yes.
We have. Did you see those?
I just want to say, I don't. Is he in the chat? Trico's in the chat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Trico.
Yeah.
Perspective is a bitch. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Claremont and Miller.
You know what it is?
Was it? Okay, Claremont wrote her then.
Did you see both Randy and I's phones went off at the same time? They both had to look at them. That was standards and practices.
Yeah, it was. Careful. It just may be a bridge we don't want to burn. Oh, that one too. Holy crap. Did you just get one?
Yep. It's like, oh.
Should I go get my phone and turn it on?
Are you tied into standards and practices?
Yeah, we'll
yeah. We're sorry. We're sorry. That the answer to that is no, and we won't do it again.
We're sorry. Oh man, yeah, almost lost our job.
Anyway, onward. Yeah, you don't want to lose your job.
So yeah,
somebody's gonna run around with a plug and just.
They'll be outside cutting the internet connections.
Yeah.
So we again, everyone knows we had Hart Fisher on, and we had Sim. We're gonna get Sim back in here pretty soon. Basically, tried to mess with Randy's camera. Look at him. And then everyone knows that we've been covering the crack and print situation.
We said you remember the name of Sim's book?
We do. Blood Hunt.
Make sure you look at Blood Hunt on Indiegogo. We'll have Sim back on here real quick.
Yeah. Because I want to talk to him a little bit more about his book.
Heart is wonderfully overpowering at times.
Yeah. Sim didn't get to say shit. So we're gonna have him back on the show very soon, and a couple other people too. But I want to try to get him back in so he can get a little bit more of his story out there about what his book, and too, he has some interesting views that I like to pick his brain over, pick his brain about. But
onward.
Yeah. So we've been covering the crack and print situation.
Release the Kraken.
And the printing and everything that's going on with people not getting their books. And there's a few people, and I want to tell everybody to keep your eyes on indievolt.com. Lewis had mentioned that his past as an investigative journalist, and we're still kind of poking around trying to get a better.
Let me say this.
So
far, what we've done is kicked over an anthill and gotten a lot of ants coming out saying something. Mm-hmm. Next is kicking down doors. Next is coming in with a flamethrower.
That was standards and practices again. He said you be careful.
I don't care right now. This is becoming close to a point where we're not going to be able to cover this as journalists, and we're going to start turning over information to law enforcement.
Well, you're be careful.
Yeah, I think that in some cases, when my concern is getting to the bottom of it.
That's right. That's what we want to do.
And getting people their books.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people. I mean, that want them now. Some of those books might not be recoverable.
That is
so
true.
without getting libelous, what have you uncovered since Tuesday?
You want?
Me?
Yeah.
Lewis. Lewis. Okay.
He's got his investigative journalism hat on.
Well, what we have is I've had 3 different people come to me threatening not me personally, but IndieVolt. And they haven't they have not come to Varian. They came to me.
3 different people.
Yes.
Why did they come to you?
That's what I want to know. I haven't heard back from them. They're saying that Varian has a conflict of interest in covering this story.
Do you have some screen captures of the communication?
One thing.
Hey, Trico, what's up? You're brighter today. Good morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know I bit my tongue on these tasty Cheetos.
Damn it.
Toasted. They were too toasted, and I bit my tongue really hard. But I'm still gonna keep working and keep making comics. And perspective is a bitch, and it's rough, but I got to keep moving forward.
We respect that. We respect that.
That's awfully brave of you.
Awfully brave.
It'll be tough, but I'm gonna make it.
Yeah. You
Good.
You hang in there, buddy. That's that Cheetos. I mean, those Cheez-It bites, man. Jesus, I can't imagine.
And not just Cheez-It, man. They were toasty. They were extra toasty.
What do you?
They were. It adds to the hardness.
That had to have been rough.
Okay, you said, Louis, you gonna step out?
Yeah, I gotta see if I can get the emails off my other computer.
Okay, go ahead. I'll move the stream. Let me know when you get back.
Yeah, pull those up.
Trike, are you with your
Barry, and I have to ask, you've been threatened.
Yeah.
Three different people.
Someone threatened Varian?
Yeah.
For what?
That's what Lewis said. He got the emails.
Because
it's a deep conflict of interest.
Listen. When you're black, you get used to being threatened. I'm threatened every day I walk out the house. My neighbor threatens me. You better move. In word. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Be careful. Don't. Yeah, I know you're joking, buddy, but be nice. Be nice to your neighbors, or the neighbors won't be nice to you.
Listen. Those cheese.
You've been that has to bring up. Is there a conflict of interest there, my friend?
I can see where someone would get that idea. Honestly, they figure, oh, he's a publisher, and he's not just a media guy. Here's the thing, I don't think that this to steal a line from Rich Johnston. I'm not a journalist.
Is that who one of the communications is from?
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Rich Johnston, I'm gonna fuck Varian up when I see him. I'm a truth seeker, and I care deeply.
That was my impression of your work on this story.
Yeah, I mean, well, they here's the thing too. They probably would tell Lewis so that because they too chicken shit to come to me and tell me.
I have to tell you, I have not received any kind of such threat at all.
But let
alone three of them.
I consider someone that there's a conflict of interest.
Three different sources.
It's like this. You know what? It can be a conflict of interest because you run this site and you also control printing. That's right. I don't control printing.
No.
That's right. So yeah, when you talk about someone being a conflict of interest, I could see if a publisher control printing, that'd be a little weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just control the news site, and I have people working for me. And to be honest with you, this story, I didn't uncover it. This story was given to me.
What kind of possible outlandish conflict could you have?
I can only suggest. I mean, that's what did I don't own a printing company. I don't own a printing company.
Yeah.
If I own the printing company, I can see conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
If I was suggesting that everybody, let me see here. Let me see here.
I hope these sources are comfortable with being named. We don't want to dox anybody, but
no. But
communication. But
if I was telling everybody, if I own a printer, that'd be different. But I don't. I'm a publisher. If I were to do something like, I don't know, somehow insinuate that everybody should go to a particular publisher and get a printer and get their books printed, like Comics Wellspring, then that would be, if I own them or worked for them, I could understand how that could be an issue.
Today's episode is brought to you by Comic Wellspring.
Yeah. But that isn't the case. I haven't done any of those things. I don't own a printer. I don't have any affiliations with a printer. I get my books printed, and I tell you right now, if in fact I were missing books, I don't want somebody doing what I'm doing right now.
You'd want to know.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that you've discovered that those books might not really be missing?
That is the situation. Those books may not be missing, and I'll tell you something else too. Besides being a truth seeker, I'm a drama queen. I like my drama,
as is evidenced by the hat that you wear.
That's right. Now, and you can threaten me, but the day you threaten this hat,
I don't think it was a threat. Was it a threat? No, Lewis isn't here to answer these questions. He's digging up those 3 sources.
Yeah, he's in his emails. I tell you what, though,
3 sources, Trico, 3 sources.
3
people.
Listen, let me tell you something. What a lot of people don't know,
because
until
a lot of people talk to Lewis, apparently.
I went
not to anyone else.
I went to private school for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But before that time, I was in Detroit private schools. I grew up in Detroit.
Yeah.
Threatening ain't shit. I'm used to being threatened.
Hey, breakfast show.
Oh, that's right. Well, put it this way. If I ain't being threatened, I'm not doing something right.
Yeah. we need to keep a running tally of swear words during the breakfast show.
Yeah, I've used that one. I'm sorry, guys.
There you go.
Brandon thinks he's part now. If he's not being threatened, he's not doing something right.
Dave's the Supreme said, yeah, but why tell the
swearing on the field. Anyway.
Why tell the emailers? Yeah, well, status of practice will be shooting me a message about that in a minute.
I'm sure.
Why
dinging any second now?
Why tell the email Lewis? It's because Lewis is very vocal, and Lewis has his email right up on the page. I don't have my email. He has his email right there. That's like you do. Maybe you'll be getting one from me pretty soon. A threat for me.
About you? What?
Yeah, tell the black kid to shut up. Ted Davis says, I don't need to listen to shit. And
there you go, Dave.
And Gabe says, screw you and the hat you rode in on. That's probably what I'm getting. And right in my hat now. I'll find my
that'd be the obvious choice.
I'll find my hat with the tail cut off of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Laying in your bed. That's where it'll be.
Yeah, shut up about this.
Your tail will be in your bed.
Yeah.
They hold the hat ransom.
Cut off from your hat. Yeah. The rest of the hat's being held for ransom.
So let's switch gears here though about the threat real quick, and let's get into some more. This is kind of out of comics. This is not about comics, but it is about the geek industry.
Oh boy.
Recently, a gentleman took his life. Alec, I can't pronounce his last name. Horowitz, I believe is his last name. I can't pronounce it very well, but
call him Alex or even still AH.
Yeah.
I got to get going, guys. I got to do a Skype call.
All right, sir. Thank you for joining.
Trico, thanks for coming on board. Is there anything that you wanted to say, or did you already say it?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out. I got to miss the Flint Con. I love the Flint Con. I suggest everyone go to it. It's September 14th.
Yes, it is.
I wish I could be there. I got to work Saturdays now.
It's been like the Saginaw Con. I've been waking up every day with layouts and shit in my head. Well, sorry, there's one on me. Stuff in my head that, all worried and stuff. And it looks like, hopefully it'll be just as big of a monster as the Saginaw show.
Cool. That'll be good.
Hopefully.
And you'll see Trico at the next show if his tongue wrapped up.
Yeah, April 18th.
Be in a cast.
If you still have your tongue, and if you're still in a cast, yeah.
He's gonna soldier on.
If Tracy lets you do comics again,
Trico.
Yeah, I had a conversation with the guy that owns a local comic book store near me, and he was like, "Man, he was running some of the numbers from the print partnership with Samedi, and he's like, man, it's getting pretty reasonable." And I'm like, I know. I found an artist that has some good prices, and so I'm still on the fence with it. But
the thing is that he's not alone, and there is a waiting list already. And believe me, once Samedi starts his distribution system, it's going to get insane.
Oh, exactly.
I just sent him an email yesterday telling him he needs a couple of interns really quick.
Yeah.
Really quick. And he needs somebody right now to be handling the print part of that and somebody to be handling the warehouse. He desperately does.
He does it all.
Yeah. I told him be careful because you can exhaust yourself faster on enthusiasm than anything else. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Trico, thank you for your bravery.
Yes.
Your bravery doing this.
Deep respect. We love having you on, buddy. You need to come on more often.
Yeah. I'll try to on a Tuesday night. During the day, I'm technically working right now.
So you shouldn't be caught doing this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I gotta do a Skype call because the guy I'm training needs help. But yeah, so I gotta go. But I mean, I can still click the buttons and do my job's pretty brainless, so I can do it while I'm on the call.
You should always remember that you're on the air, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't want to say stuff that you don't want absolutely everybody to know.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably build a program to do my job eventually. So.
All right, sir. You take it easy. We'll see you soon.
Cool. Take care, man. All
right.
Yep. All right. Take it easy.
Yeah.
You might have to do that afternoon afterthought show.
Yeah.
Just so we can have Trico on for a little while, because I'm sure he's got a few experiences that he wouldn't mind sharing with everybody.
Yeah. That
as far as the wonderful independent comic market.
Now we have I want to talk about the Zoe Quinn situation. If anybody doesn't know who Zoe Quinn is,
ZQ.
Yeah.
And no, not everybody's going to know who they are because comics seems to be a circle and gaming seems to be a circle, and
there's a small circle they
and luckily ZQ really didn't bump into the comic circle for very long. She was there for a couple of she wrote Goddess Mode.
Yeah. In ZQ, she came up with some rape allegations against AH, and AH rather than face these allegations, if true, because that's what they were allegations, took his life. 2 days later, because after the allegations came out, 2 days later, he was fired from his job in the gaming industry. He had and then I'm assuming he lost friends and professional and personal relationships because of the allegations, and then he took his own life. And now the thing is, and I've said this before, if he was guilty of these acts that he was accused of being guilty of, then that one of the biggest injustices is that he won't see a day in jail, a day in prison, because if he did these things, he deserves prison. But
depending upon the severity of the offense, he's already gone through counseling. He's already gone through the apologies, and the apologies apparently were accepted. And then 6 months to a year later, suddenly this email comes out where she's bearing her heart. Amazingly, a couple of weeks after she had apparently tweeted that she was broke, and her Patreon account, which was at 1,500 with so many backers, has since been not canceled, but it has been taken to private, so nobody could see if anybody else added to that till. From her, amazing confession. That apparently led to all of the additional tribulations, because Alex had already gone through therapy and he had already, hopefully, what he thought the entire matter was under the bridge.
The thing is, I just can't understand why this happened this way. Going to Twitter, going to Facebook with these allegations is not only dangerous to the person who you're accusing, because someone could fly off the handle and go kill that person, but it's also dangerous to you if something happened to you, to your case, because someone can say, well, look, the story changed on Facebook. They said I did this, and that, and the other. But you know, you want to go. You don't want to give the person the time to get away or get out the country. You want to go to the authorities first, get that person arrested, get them detained, at least, you know, get the law involved, and then get yourself a lawyer and see that that person is brought to justice.
Yeah.
And when you run to Twitter, you're not getting any of that. All you want at that point is you want that person's career. You want them to be, you know, that's not. Look, if someone, if I'm raped, I don't want you to lose your job. I want you in prison.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that would go hand in hand. But yes,
yeah.
Now, but that's like I said. All of the all this is to the person. Apparently, all of this matter was under the bridge already, done, taken care of. He's moving on. He's going on, and he's creating more things. So. And then she came back with a heartfelt confession that caused a whole nother eruption that was apparently too much for him to handle.
Yeah. And we have to be careful when we do things like that. I mean,
and I think instead of pointing fingers at people and talking about how terrible people are, and people are terrible out there, that it should be an example of the entire cancel culture that's out there. There's a lot of like Ethan and DeQuartering right now are trying desperately to do that, because what happened is when she made her confession, everybody dogpiled on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these people, not all of them, but a lot of these people have since completely pulled their Twitter accounts.
You know, and I'll be honest with you, it made
and Zoe apparently has gone totally silent.
Yeah. And I'll tell everyone, you know, some of our listeners might know that a couple of years ago, and to this day, I've been harassed by a vendor at conventions here in Michigan, and this vendor has gone so far as to call me the N-word, and
I'm going to let you speak. I have to answer this email.
Okay. Oh, it's my show now. All right. This vendor's called me several names, called me the N-word several times, and I had a video from calling me the N-word. And
I have to step out and handle this. I will be right back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And the vendor called me the N-word several times, and I the one time I recorded it, and I recorded it because I wanted proof that he had done this. And when I presented the proof to staff at the convention, at the time, no one had gotten back to me. So I posted it online, like, "Hey, this is what happened to me." And a mutual friend of ours, of me and this gentleman, he got upset with me. He says, "You shouldn't have put that video online." And I thought, well, you know, he shouldn't have said the N-word. And in light of things that have happened, I've been thinking about that. Like, wow, I did put this guy's video online, him calling me the N-word, which is different than being called, you know, I mean, obviously being charged with something as heinous as rape. And I thought about this. I'm like, well, wow, would I have created a situation where that guy could be dogpiled on? Now, he doesn't have any social media presence. He doesn't have any of that. But, you know, did I create a situation where someone would see this guy at Comic-Con and be willing to, you know, go do him great bodily harm? And so I thought about that, and I thought maybe, you know, I shouldn't have posted the video. It is too late now. It is out there. It's been viewed over, I think it's been viewed a couple thousand times. So I know definitely more than 1,000 times. But it's one of those things where now I'm thinking about that, and I'm taking that all in, and I will think about that in the future before I post the video, or I post something that says, "Hey, you know, when I bring somebody to the carpet for something heinous." Now, the idea is you got to kind of figure out how bad of an situation it is. If someone is accused of rape, you know, you want to tread lightly with that, I think, because you want to find out if it's true. I put a video up of a guy using racial slurs out of his own mouth. He wasn't, you know, he made those comments out of his own mouth at the video. Now, I'm assuming that if you see someone attacking someone, however they're attacking them, and you film it, that's acceptable.
Right.
But to go out there with allegations, hey, Randy Zimmerman was,
and even still, if I was running video or showing an email that had those slurs in it, I would do my best to redact those.
Yeah,
because nobody needs to hear that crap.
I think about it now and wonder at some point, was I wrong? But the thing is, I have the video, and
right,
the video is out there. But I like to I do think that there is this is a guy who he was told to apologize to me, and he never did. And this is a guy that, people come to me and people say, we don't need that in our community. We don't need that guy in our community.
Yep.
And,
sorry to jump tracks here, but Lewis, were you able to pull up those emails?
I had to go to my other computer, cut and paste, and send it to myself.
Okay.
But yeah, it's up. I got it in share screen.
All right. Oh, okay.
Two of them.
I'm sorry. Let me pull them up here. Hold on. We got them?
First one is from Tony the T-Rex at T-Rex627 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And as far as I know, that is a legitimate email. Okay. I sent him a response, and I heard back, and I'm not going to go any further than this, but this is what he said. Don't you think it's strange that you and IndieVolt are covering this and nobody else in the comics industry is? Mr. Grant owns a comics publisher by his own admission. Maybe he used Kraken Print and doesn't pay for his books and is now trying to make them look bad. Did that thought never occur to you? Furthermore, isn't he in direct competition, and I redacted with the person's name and his company, in Michigan? I edited it out because I don't want to imply or accuse any said party of anything.
Right.
So the first thing I want to address with that is that we are not in direct competition with anybody. None of us are.
No, well, I'm in direct competition with Randy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
really? When did that happen?
Yeah, I'm in contract. I'm in direct competition with.
That's because I've already won. That's not in any competition with me. I won. No, this person. Have you ever had anything printed from Kraken variant?
No. I don't.
You've never used their services. I've never used their services. I didn't even know they existed until you brought this up. Well, I knew that I've heard of the printer before. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had talked to people that have used the printer before, but I didn't know they were in this type of situation.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I meet their minimums.
Probably. Yeah.
So,
and as far as being in competition with blank, with this company blank in Michigan, are you in competition with anybody in Michigan other than me?
No. Other than you and that's it. No, and the thing is about the competition. And Lewis, I'm gonna let you finish. I just
how is printing comics being in competition with anyone outside of trying to get shelf space on a retailer that probably only buys you for pulls?
Yeah, I think he's only trying to imply that by discussing how Kraken Print may or may not be with this other company or something, that we're trying to tear down the competition.
No, see, and that's the thing. Listen, I want to see everybody in comics do good, and here's why: because a rising tide lifts all boats. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
If in fact, now there are some publishers that I feel are putting out less than spectacular product, and rather than trying to hold those people back or down talk them, I'll try to let them know, hey, maybe you guys should do this, you should do that. If that advice is warranted. If it's not, if they ask for it, then I'll give it to them. I'm not giving out unsolicited advice. It just doesn't happen. But I don't feel that I'm ever in direct competition with anybody. And in fact, if that is the case, then one, I think that's a compliment, and two, I think that might be people wanting to have that Marvel versus DC trickle down to even the indies. Oh, these guys are all in on it together. They're all fighting each other. What they don't realize is that after most shows, most of us all roll in the same circles. We know each other. We've gone to dinner with each other. We share hotel rooms with each other. I've booked hotel rooms for other publishers. Eric Dreaded Dinosaur, who has Hey Melby comics. We've shared hotel rooms. Chad Gibson, a Sinister Undertone. We've we shared hotel rooms. I mean, in fact, I believe that if we were all corporate companies, some of us might actually be in trouble for insider trading, if anything. Because sometimes these companies, I mean, that's how everybody is. People use the same printer because people.
The independent printing market is a small
Very
community. Very small, and we like to help each other out as much as possible.
That's why everybody's over there that printer for the most part.
Yeah. And if there was something derogatory that we wanted to that I'm sure Varian wanted to tear down with any type of competition in Michigan, it would have gone more directly to that whoever that is that he is in competition with.
And I don't feel I'm in competition with anybody because I don't want to be in competition. I can't compete with anybody because I refuse to. Now, that does not mean that I don't want to put out the best product that I can. There was, and I want to address that for a second because there was the idea at one point from another publisher that I had their talent had come over to me and decided to publish a comic with me.
Keep talking. I got to step out for a sec.
No problem. They wanted to print a comic with me. That was perfectly fine. And I accepted the deal. That publisher got a little upset with me. And they kind of, they got it. I mean, they contacted me and they were like, hey, I felt that you kind of stole this person from me. And I didn't steal them from you. They offered me, they came to me with their book, no contract. They were looking for a publishing house. I'm that guy. I'm going to publish the book. I like the book. I'm going to put it out. But even still, I don't feel like I was in competition. But I could see how that publisher might actually be a little raw with me. I could understand why he.
That's not that pub. This is not that publisher.
No. That publisher is
what? Who? Wait a minute. I missed that part. How do you know it's not that publisher?
Well, he is. Lewis probably. I guess he's.
Because Tony the T-Rex sounds pretty suspicious. I don't think anybody goes around with Tony the T-Rex on their license.
I'm drawing it. I'm drawing it.
You're drawing it.
I'm drawing Tony the T-Rex.
Even as we speak.
No, not as we speak. But as soon as this cast is over, I'm at the art desk. I'm drawing Tony the T-Rex. That's too good. He's about to have his character yanked. Lewis, thanks for bringing that to my attention, though. I had no idea. I appreciate you bringing those emails to my attention.
I want to go down to the other one. It really ticked me off.
All right.
You guys are liars. Jacob and Blank. I blanked them out again because we have
trying to run down their business.
Mm-hmm.
What they're
only 1 month behind on payments, and that there is no warehouse trying to sell books. Who do you think you are?
Well, if there wasn't a warehouse trying to sell books, there's no story. There's no connection to a warehouse. There's no other artists getting upset that they're being contacted by the warehouse saying that they've got books.
Yeah.
Plus, that would mean Jacob has actually come out from whatever hiding that he has done and made any type of statement.
I don't think Jacob has.
Jacob and Blank have told me that you guys are trying to. That means somebody has heard from Jacob in the last 3 or 4 days, and E. Thurston needs to come forward and kill this story.
Yeah,
that's what he needs to do.
Now, I know, Lewis, you mentioned that you had to. I was addressing the question here. You had to copy and paste these because they're all from your other computer. You couldn't send them over, but that's why they have the same timestamp from when you came right back home. So, but again, these, if somebody wanted to,
and you couldn't copy and paste the third one.
No,
I will tell
that one. I'm not going to share.
Okay. Why not?
Not publicly. I'll share it with Varian privately.
Why not?
I don't. It's all vulgar shit that I just don't want to.
You can redact the name.
No, if he says vulgar,
you can redact the expletives.
Is that how you pronounce that? I thought it was
expletives.
Yeah, okay. I just don't know. I'll talk about with Varian privately.
Okay, that's fine. I would say to most people
because it wasn't directed at Varian. It was directed at me because it's.
You have something to hide?
He's
Something to be
saying
ashamed something to be ashamed of?
He's trying to say that
This is the internet. You're always going to get trolled, Lewis.
Sure. They're claiming that Varian hired me and that I'm working for him, which there is no contracts or.
Well, you're not getting any money for anything that.
Right. I'm just here as
nobody gets paid here.
Right. We're all, both Randy and I are just guest.
Much to the chagrin of my wife, by the way. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we're just both of us are guest commentators. But because I posted an article for the wrestling on Indie Volt, and because Varian's being nice and doing me a favor and helping me launch my own channel, which is nothing connected to Indie Volt in any way, shape, or form. All he's done is hire someone that he had connections to help me with the graphics for my opening for my podcast that launches next week.
Lewis Gate.
Yeah, Lewis Gate. And so, I'm doing this to somehow bolster Varian. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, let's clean that up for a second. I didn't hire somebody. I asked a friend to help with that opening. So
I'm sorry, but I have to say, if there's anything in your article that is factual or not right, or if there's no story here, if there's no story here, the people involved in the story need to step forward, because we've done. Well, I shouldn't say we. It's been Lewis. Lewis has done a lot of investigating into this, and there are so many open questions into this story that absolutely have to be answered.
Yes, and Varian's the one doing the investigating. He's just running stuff by me, and I'm giving him advice on what to ask. But
you haven't done any investigating into this at all.
So why they're coming at me? Is I don't know what you think I'm going to do an expose on Quote the Raven. That's not what Quote the Raven is for. Quote the Raven is to promote other people's books.
Well, I wonder this. I wonder this. If anybody did if anyone was upset about the coverage,
because Varian would love to run a verbatim interview with Jacob Way, wouldn't you, Varian?
Oh yeah. I'd want to listen. There wasn't. I'm not gonna call the names, but there was a situation about a year ago between a publisher and an artist, and I went to both of them and I said, "Hey, this is right around the time Indie Vote started." I said, "Hey, listen, it's your story. I want to get your story," and I put both of them down so that everybody can get their story out. I asked them pretty much the same questions from their side of the spectrum.
Well, am I wrong in saying that this is the stuff that you contacted me for my opinion on and got me watching goddamn YouTube so much?
Yeah. And,
sorry, that was another ding from Standards and Practices. I'm sorry about the swear word.
And we did, and I wrote that article.
That was your fault. This whole incident about Anyway, go ahead.
And I got, I put the story up and I said, okay, this publisher is mad at this guy because this guy said he put his beliefs up on social media, and the shit was horrible. Excuse my language, but there's another ding. But I put both people up. I put both their articles up at the same time. I'm gonna take that off screen for a second for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I put both versions, both accounts.
We can stop sharing the screen in general. Okay. People have seen it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I gave them both ample time to talk, to speak. The interviews, one interview was longer than the other because the publisher had a lot. He was quite loquacious, and he listed everything, and it was he listed like a lot of talk. And actually, the funny thing was, when I talked to people and people contacted me about the interviews later, they told me that his interview actually made him seem a little more guilty because it was very long-winded. He says it's my damage control. But that's the same offer I'm giving here. Come forward to the indie community. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put your interview up. I'm not going to dogpile on you. I'm going to ask you the questions. Why do people say that you haven't paid this warehouse deal since June? Why are people saying that? Clear it up. Let them know. No, it's been a month. It's been 2 weeks. There are beliefs out here from people that somehow it's the artist's fault. Is it the artist's fault? Are the creators of these comics? Is it their fault? Whose fault is it? And I'm willing to have hell. You don't have to do it live. We could do it pre-recorded. We could record it and then I'll put it up. I would rather do it live. That way you don't have to worry about me editing anything or changing your answers around. I wouldn't do that anyway, but I'm willing to let them come online and talk about it. You might as well get your story out there. Trico says, Variant hired me, but only for the Men of Last Call calendar. He assured me it would be tasteful. The pictorial was quite tasteful. Quite tasteful. We didn't use much Photoshop on Trico, actually.
I gotta attend a second of outside business with a couple of texts, so I have to step out for a second again. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I would say though, in this situation, with what's going on.
Well, the thing is, can I say something real quick here? That second email from E. Thurston. First off, the email, when I tried to reply, that email is no longer valid.
Okay.
Secondly, if you read what he said something very similar to something that someone that is one of your contacts for this situation came to you and told you that Jacob and so-and-so told him almost verbatim what I wrote.
Yeah. Well,
and that's where I'm going. Who is that? What's going on here?
Right.
Because it's too close in the language.
Well, that's the spin that's being put on this thing. That's typically people don't, they don't veer from the script very far.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
and if those two persons, and this is why I said, Randy, that I didn't think Jacob came out, because from what the other person said who did contact Varian, we came to the conclusion it was the other party, not Jacob, that had said this.
What that said? What? I'm sorry.
Only a month behind instead of 3 months. And there was no warehouse situation.
Well, I would tell you this: the warehouse doesn't give a crap 30 days late. Warehouse starts giving a crap at 60 days late when they figure that the stuff's not recoverable or that the funds aren't recoverable.
Who hears
or even 120 days. So I'm imagining it's more than just a 30-day late payment.
Who hears every?
I don't know where your source is coming from.
Who hears every?
Your source needs to step forward.
Mine or his?
No, the one that sent the email to Lewis.
Yeah.
Because obviously Tony the T-Rex is an assumed name.
Tony T-Rex.
We're talking about E. Thurston.
Doesn't have a first name either.
Yeah.
Mr. Thurston or Ms. Thurston needs to step forward.
Yeah, I would tell people to step forward, and if they know something, hell, let us know, because we're just trying to get it.
There's been nothing said derogatory about any publisher or any wanting to tear any other publisher down.
No,
I don't know where they're getting that impression.
Yeah. Now I will say this too. Have you guys ever used a storage facility? Any of you?
Used what?
No, I can't say I ever have. I've checked into it, but I've never used one.
A storage facility?
No.
Like a public, one is called public house, another one's called store in a storage center. All the storage facilities.
We have plenty. I'm from Flint. We have plenty of them around here, and it is a booming business because people are trying to get for the last 20 years, they've been trying to get the heck out of the area. So,
I know I've put some stuff in a storage facility before. I've rented a couple of units. And I can tell you this. Generally, if you don't pay, and I've gone to a lot of their auctions, and if you don't pay, generally, they give you, I know around the 60-day mark is when they say, hey, you need to pay, or we're going to auction your stuff out on this date. Now, they don't have to tell you what date they're going to auction that stuff off on.
No, but how long were they going to give you to pay?
I never found myself in that position. I'm just saying,
okay.
When I want to go to the auctions. Now, I know you weren't, I don't believe you were able to. I don't believe the owner of the property was able to come to the auction. I don't believe they were, but some people told me that they were there for the person, and they actually, bid it to get the person's stuff back.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But I know the person was getting their stuff auctioned out. Auction was actually allowed on the premises, but because they just open the gate and let you look in there for like a couple seconds, and they close it. Yep. And then they, go ahead and bid. And You can't go through it. You can't look or anything. But again, that happens. The actual auction doesn't happen until around the 90-day mark. Now,
Is it that quick, or is it the 120-day mark?
It was for everyone that I know. It was the 90-day mark.
Oh, that's pretty strict.
Yeah, it was like an apartment. It was like an apartment. You didn't pay, you were in trouble. But I will say this. I'm a little confused as to, and this is why we're digging.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little confused as to a few things. One, it was said that the warehouse had told publishers or people who own those comics, because not all of them publish. Some of them just, I guess they are all publishers in a way. The owners of those books, that they had acquired a lien on the property. Okay, now if it's if they have acquired a lien on the property, that means it's now theirs to sell. Wouldn't they, by then opening those products, I'm guessing, pulling out purchase orders, would they not then, and contacting the people who own those purchase orders, would they then not be violating that lien that they just had by saying, okay, we recognize this is really not the property of the people that we got the lien against, and now we're going to contact these people? Like, it's in a way, it's like you just violated your own.
I don't know.
But honestly, I'm sure that it would take more than just being 30 days late for all of this to get triggered.
Well, yeah. There's no way. I mean, and yeah. And
haven't you been hearing from other publishers and other parties that have nothing to do with anything we've talked about yet? Sorry.
Yeah.
But that have said this goes back 8 months.
I've heard, listen, the first time I heard of any problems, people not getting their books, was it was summer of last year. The first time I heard someone say, hey, I didn't get my books. But at that time, I know people who got online and said, I did get I had to call and cuss and stuff up and down, but I got my books. I'm not sure if they went back after that, but I know, I remember reading, hey, I didn't get my books. Where are they? I got a con coming up in a week and a half. I need my books. But yeah, I can tell people with 100% surety, I have never printed through Kraken Print in any of my products.
Nor I don't think anybody will be doing that at any time in the near future.
Yeah.
Unless there's a miracle that happens.
None of my books are in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And I can
well, I think the real interesting aspect to this story that you're reporting is that I don't know if you've reported this yet or not, but stop me if you haven't, is that a lot of these publishers weren't even aware they had books sitting in that warehouse.
That is exactly right. There's a lot of them that didn't even know the books were there. And that, at least that's what they're saying. I don't know. What do you mean?
Yep.
Popsicle Stick Man is in the book. In that
and you have to do that JFK scene. Questions. What did they know? Who did they know? When did this happen? Why did that happen?
Yeah,
that's all part of your journalism.
Yeah. And again, it's just to get to do that, help out the very people that I'm in competition with. I want to bring something else about that competition. There are very few articles, and this is by design, on Indie Vote about Last Call.
I think, yeah, but I think it's also very interesting that nobody else is covering the story. Is it a non-story?
Maybe it's small potatoes. Maybe it's you know what, I think
that's not the impression you got from the lady at the warehouse, right?
No,
that it was just a few books, 10 books here, 20 books there.
This is thousands of books.
The funny thing is, the question we had Tuesday, where someone asked if this is too insider. Yeah, this is inside baseball. This isn't interesting to the fans of indie comics.
Well, yet see, and yet at the same time, we get complaints from people that you don't cover the indie comic scene often enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this is indie comics. This is all
Mhm.
part of the hassle of having a small publishing company and having to deal with printers. It's
Or in this
not
case,
unusual.
broker.
Or printer brokers.
Yeah.
I can do a whole show on printer brokers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sirree.
Having said all this, guys, would you ever consider being a printer?
No.
Oh, if I had the equipment,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. There's right now, as far as the print medium goes, there's less and less printers out there than ever, and that market is slowly shrinking as people stop using hard copies of books, or printers. But but I don't know if I would really do it, because the people in my area that I use for both print on demand and mass printing of stuff are awesome people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to not. It's like me getting into the screen printing business. I could get a silk screen machine down here in a pizza oven, but why? Why do you want to do that when there's one guy in town who's got 40 years worth of experience and other shops in town that have 20 years of experience? And you don't want that type of hassle to have to deal with an ever shrinking competition, because there's less and less businesses in my area in general every year. You take it to the professionals to get it done.
Yeah, I think that
it's what you do.
When you have a situation like printing comics, you need to be. I mean, you're serving a lot of masters. You're serving a lot of people who are. I mean, you got to deal with all these. You got to deal with all these artists and artists and creators who, it is very hard to be an artist publisher, because you have to turn off that artist part of your brain that's always picking at everything. Because I can go through a book that someone printed for me, one of my own books, and say, oh, the color didn't show up on this. Oh, I wanted that to be lighter. And you have to understand what was your problem in production versus what is the printer's problem. And so printing is a very, very, I think, high stress business. And I wouldn't want to do it myself, because it just seems like it's just, I'd rather hand the packages to someone else and say, get that printed.
Mm-hmm.
A week or two, and I'll get pick that up.
Exactly. Yeah.
But again, though, here's the thing. I like my printer where I can go to them. I can request copies as low as
25.
Up to however many I need. I like that.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why is because, it allows somebody in a way an entry level position into the medium. I'm only going to get 100 books printed. I'm only going to get 200 books printed. It gives you that ability to do that. Whereas you go into, some of these other larger printers, you have to make a commitment of we don't print anything less than 2,000 books, and that's going to be $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy down the street doesn't have that, so he doesn't have $3,000 to sink into getting those books. Lewis, not to put you on the spot here, but you printed over 500 copies of Wingman.
No, I printed 500 copies of Wingman.
500 copies. Of Wingman. Yeah. How many copies do you currently have?
Probably around 400.
So you moved 100 copies of the book. Mm-hmm. Imagine, Lewis. Imagine if you would have sank $4 or $5 grand into those books and had thousands upon thousands of copies sitting there in your home,
right?
Sitting there, not moving,
right?
You're Randy.
Yes,
he has a lot of.
I've been in your basement.
Mm-hmm.
You've got copies and cases of books. You're actually trying to give them away.
I got 8 cases of Wingman. That's what I got.
8 cases.
Mm-hmm.
And Randy, you've got cases upon cases upon cases. Well, a very
not as many as I used to have, but yeah, I did that. But that's because the printer I was dealing with had minimums of 2,000 and 3,000.
You see, so
at 2,000, my break-even point was right around 1,250.
Now I want to break.
At 3,000, I need to say this. At 3,000, my break-even point was 800.
I want to say something though, and this is gonna be unpopular
because that's how the printing went.
and I want to hold on. Let's see.
Check your
And I still remember those
Page
figures to
line.
this day. It's been 2 decades. Holy crap.
Facebook Messenger.
I did. I seen it. I did see that. You sent me. I want to put this up here. Unpopular opinion alert. Okay. I want to say this. There is something to be said about printers that had minimums of 2,000. And here's why. Randy, without giving away your exact numbers, how much did you have to put down for a print run usually?
Well, for who?
This is just for a comic.
In general.
I got to be honest. I wouldn't had them shipped to me, and I would always pay before the next issue was done.
Mm-hmm. So,
you know, when I brought him the next issue, I paid for the previous one. That's the way I've been doing business for decades.
Oh no, I'm on the comics. Like when you were doing,
That's what I'm talking about on the comics too.
Okay. So like, a print run of 3,000 comics is going to usually be around what, $2,000?
Oh, that I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's got to be no. Actually,
It's less than that.
it's less. It's much less than that. It's much less than that because
1350, wasn't it?
I remember. Yeah, that might be right. I'm thinking more 1250 keeps sticking in my head, but I could be wrong.
Well, give me a second here. Let me look on a calculator.
Because I know our break even was, yeah, I could probably figure it out actually.
Well, let's just say
it wasn't that much because we were printed on. We weren't on white paper. We were black and white with a color cover. The color cover was more expensive than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But and I remember our break even point being 800, 860, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's in. I've been transparent on all of that stuff, and that's probably the wrong one. And Spank the Monkey on the Comic Market #2 would have those figures.
Okay,
it would.
Yeah, I put those figures in there. I didn't have anything to hide.
I've got it out.
No, I got it here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
what's the typical comic? 32 pages? Would you say 28 pages?
Yeah. No, I always printed 32. I always thought printing 24 pages was kind of a rip. That's my opinion.
All right. To that. All right. Let's say you said minimum copy used to be 2,000 already.
Yeah. We hardly ever did 2,000. That's why I've got so many cases back here, because it was so much easier just to print 3. And I think there were only maybe 2 titles that I ever printed just 2,000 on. Everything else was 3,000 to 4,000 on a print run.
All right.
There's if you got a 2 handy there, Lewis, it's got a picture of Spank in front of a chalkboard, and it's got all the figures on it.
Yeah, I've got it right here. This one.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys something.
Because I was making a big deal that on our normal run, we were breaking even. Diamond was making money.
Right.
I'm going to show you guys something. Saddle stitched 32-page comic, okay? Currently on the same stock that I use. If I had a minimum of 3,000, are you ready to see the price, gentlemen?
Yeah, go ahead. You can tell us.
There it is.
Wow, buddy.
Now, I bring that up.
You need to pull that off. You do. We don't want to disparage that publisher.
No. I'm not. I want to say that because this is what I want to say. Maybe those minimums aren't a bad idea.
Maybe what?
Maybe those minimums aren't a bad idea.
No. It's the way they work. The whole all of the money is tied into the initial process of getting the plates onto the press and then getting them to all line up right, especially on a color job, in order to have it look right.
I mean something much more simpler though.
So printing 2,000 is one cost, but printing 3,000 is so much less, because all it is them keeping the machine running for another 10, 15 minutes.
If you told
That's all it is.
That I had to pay $6,000 for 3,000 copies of my book, I'm less likely to rule out shit. And if I'm not serious about the industry, I'm less likely to get involved. Because the startup cost for me to get a product out is so damn high.
Yeah.
The investment is so damn high. Screw
Yeah.
it. I'll do something else.
But that particular printer's material, his presses and that aren't made for mass production. They are made for print on demand.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to point out, because
Yeah.
that's the place you go to get the 100 copies, 50 copies, 75 copies. That's not the place to go to get mass production. There are much bigger presses, which I'm sure that publisher would send. Well, I don't think that they would send you to, because they'd laugh and go, God bless you. We're going on vacation on your money, because you're spending $217 a book.
Yeah.
But
the list price that you mentioned in spec number 2 was $1.13 per copy.
That we were making, or that we were making from Diamond?
It was.
Does it have our? I'm pretty sure I put our break-even point in there. We were making so much per issue.
Yeah.
And in order to break even,
no.
we had to move so many.
Okay, here. I'm gonna try and bring it in close.
Let me get that banner down 1 second.
That's $325. We were the cover price on that was $325 at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking
65 cents.
Yeah.
I think that's the amount of money that Diamond was making.
Right.
Per issue, where we were just barely breaking even.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's what was so frustrating, is because Diamond had this disparity between percentages of what we had to give Diamond to what they were charging the retailer, that they were making money and we weren't. So I'm like, oh, well, why am I doing a book that's breaking even and Diamond's making money on it?
Mm-hmm.
That's just, even though they're muling, that just didn't seem right to me. And because I'm doing all the work, they're moving it from one box to the next box and shipping it.
Do you guys think, again, and not to be disparaging to any printer, because like I said, I mean, that's 6,500 for the copies. Mm-hmm. I think that when you have those type of numbers, people who aren't just about the industry can't get in. Michael Beacon says, was that Kablam? No, that wasn't.
No, that was not Kablam.
But Michael, those numbers are very comparable to Kablam's.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, Kablam is a print-on-demand printer.
Sure.
They're geared for 100 or less,
maybe
200, at most. But once you start talking thousands, then you go looking for a different printer.
Yeah. And I think that as long as you're going to put out books that have smaller print runs, those print-on-demand companies actually are probably best for you.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Whereas, if you're going to go, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 copies, you're probably going to find a mass printer. But, you're still going to have to put down, like you said, $1,200, $1,300 to get those books.
Yeah. And until they know you. And then you can pay for the book when you go to drop off the next one.
And then you're also going to have to also understand that there's normally a time difference. They need time to ship the books to you, and then everything in the comic market takes two weeks to a month. I like the fact that I can go to my printer and pick up those books. I do like that. I do like the fact that my printer is local. Very lucky in that aspect. I remember when I first got into comics, guys, I was trying to find a printer, and the guy who does my prints just owns a small. He's a
and I have to say, the print-on-demand guy that I've used. He would give me one date and then call me like 2 days before, telling me everything was done. Come and get them.
Yeah. My printer is a franchisee of
OPM.
Hop?
Was it OPM?
No. No, the printer I use up here is Comics Wellspring, Gecko printing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I probably shouldn't have said that. Free ad. Yeah.
Well, no. I was thinking you gave me I printed Wingman.
Oh, no. You're thinking of those guys that used to do print on demand. You were probably and here's another story off in the distance. I'm sorry to digress. The guy that you probably had those books printed from back in 2011?
Yeah.
Quickly went out of business because I gave the name of the publisher to another guy that had a bunch of books printed from them and ran them over like a SOB. He is no longer in comics.
I'm sorry.
And they printed a job that they sent to him wrong.
Mhm.
And then they come back on him and told him that they printed it wrong.
Mhm.
And then they got into a big argument over the job, and he literally broke the printer.
Oh man.
The printer said, I am no longer doing any kind of work for anybody in the comic book industry because that guy's an a-hole.
Okay.
So if you try to go back to that source, they ain't printing. They might be
Well,
printing.
no. I
They
haven't.
might be printing books, but I doubt that they're printing comic books anymore. They're not a whole lot of people use them.
Mhm.
Because this one guy, and he was local at the time. Like I said, he's no longer around.
Right.
But he broke them, and then he boasted that he broke them because he made them eat the print run, and that he literally inherited those books because they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So he had 2 runs of that books that he was able to discount out and make money at because he broke the printer. He was a genuine standards and practices, a general asshat.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I was mentioning. My printer,
And that book sucked too. That was the real sad thing, was bad quality. It was just bad. It was just sad and bad. And it was a bad experience in general.
I asked the guy who does my prints.
I didn't print books. I didn't get a comic printed after that for a long time.
Yeah.
The guy who does my prints is a franchisee of a larger print company.
Mhm.
And I don't want to say the name, but he does my prints, not my printing for my books, but like if I need a poster or some posters made. And when I first got into the comic industry, I knew about printers and everything, but I remember going to him. I hadn't printed. I may have printed about 4 or 5 books at this point, and I asked him if he could print a comic for me. And he said, "Well, sure. What do you need?" I told him what I need. I gave him my sizes and everything, pound of paper, all that stuff. And he said, "Okay, I can tell you this.
Be right back.
If I print it, it'll be the nicest looking comic book ever. But it's going to cost you $8.75 a book."
God damn.
Yeah. And I was like, "What?" He said it's going to be $8.75 a book. And I'm like, no. But one of my buddies did print through him. My buddies did print through him. Printed his sketchbook through them. He did a little mini sketchbook, and I think he ended up paying $250 to $300 for a couple copies, like 100 copies or something like that of the book.
Yeah.
But it was a small, sketchbook, small.
Did it look awesome?
It did look nice. It did look nice. It just it wasn't square bound or anything. It was saddle stitched, but it is what it was. It was but I learned quickly that your print on demand, your printers, they actually do. If you got a good printer, he knows what he's doing.
That's so key. Yes, you have to have that confidence in them, because that's all you need is for your print job to go south. And I've had books printed that I've sent wrong, that we've had to eat, that were done by big time printers, and they didn't have enough sense to call me and say, this book doesn't look right.
Yeah, let's see here.
And I've accidentally sent files down to my newsprint guy here for Flint Comics, and have gotten a call at 10 o'clock at night going, this file ain't right. Which is like, awesome, dude. I don't mind having to wake up and having to come downstairs and spend an hour making sure I have a PDF proper for you to send you in order to get that plate right. I am so grateful to you that you didn't print that job wrong.
And I'll say this too, and I'll say this too positively about Kraken. People who did print through them, no one complained about bad quality.
Oh no, the quality of work is A1.
Yeah. So I mean, don't people think, you're dog piling on them? I'm not.
That book you gave me was a really slick, beautiful looking book.
Yeah. So like, don't sit up here and think, oh, you guys are dog piling them. They put out quality product.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate this is happening. Michael Beacon asked, I know looking at Turner's PPP, the prices I found were around $462 to print 1,000 copies of a 32 page book.
Yeah.
It's newsprint and you don't get proof copies, but it's not a bad deal.
No, but again, Michael is right. It's newsprint, and you don't get a proof. You're just going to have to hope your job's right, because you're at the tail end of a long run that Samedi is running. They literally stick your book at the bottom of the plate and run it all off at once. So if Peter has approved his print, your print is probably going to be A1.
I've never got a proof in any of my books.
Never.
Never did a proof because my printer says that getting a proof will delay your book by 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's the printers that you use. You should
Yeah.
always get it. I always got on the graphic on the graphic novels. I still got blue line proofs, and there were still horrible mistakes. And just embarrassing little crap production stuff that I didn't catch even when I looked at the proof.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes your chances. But if it's a new printer, I would, especially if they haven't done comics before, I would recommend wholeheartedly that you get a proof.
Yeah.
I never got proofs with the books that I took to Prinny for the third version of Arrow, and we went 30 or 50, mid 50s different issues on that because I knew and had all the confidence that they knew what they were doing.
Well, see,
but new printers like that, you should always be cautious.
Dave Supreme says I never done a proof. Well, Dave, when you're as perfect as we are, there's no need for proofs.
Well, my print on demand guy offered a proof, and he can send one digitally, which doesn't hold up the process at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think I might have looked at the HeroBot book I had printed through them, but it was a big book. I mean, and it was an expense, and that ran me about I think it was close to $350 a unit.
How do you guys feel about digital proofs?
Digital proofs are good.
Yeah.
I've gotten the Preservers book. They've sent me digital proofs of the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they have to ship the cover out to another printer in order to have it printed because it's on slick cover paper. And they want me to make sure that they've sent it correctly. So that removes them of any type of responsibility as being the middleman. So,
yeah.
And now I have caught a couple of things and have been thankful that they did that because I have caught a couple of things. But there was one like the Preservers 3 was the cover was printed low.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of open space on top, which I corrected on the second printing. I was happy to do it. I didn't catch it when they sent me the proof for the cover.
I got an email here, and
it didn't hurt the book. Everything was there. It's just that there was the space along the top was empty and extra large. Handy for autographs.
The email asks, storing comics can be a hassle. With the warehouse woes that we're talking about, how do you guys suggest warehousing or storing your comics? They didn't put a name, but I would say
I've got a basement.
Yeah, he's got his basement. I've got a room over there.
That's that little door that's right behind him.
Yeah.
No, not that one.
That one. Oh, that's his way to get downstairs.
Okay. Yeah. We
second door down where the open door is the bathroom. The door right next to it's the room that goes to the comics.
Okay. You see, you know what? Honestly, I store mine all here at home. We have them sometimes. We have them stored, and I'll tell you this: I store them in a. I'll show you guys. As a matter of fact, hold on. You guys talk for a second. I'll be right back.
All right. And the big thing that if you store them at home is make sure your basement doesn't leak or have any chance of flooding, because I've had product lost and know people who've had a lot of product lost.
Yeah.
By
well,
all it takes is one good flood. So.
Yeah. Well, not just the basement. I mean, I've got roof leakage problems.
Yeah, that too.
Same thing. Same issues.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had that in this house. We've had a roof leaking, and also I run a dehumidifier usually all year round down here in this basement because I can tell if it's too filled up for more than a day. Like if I leave someplace where I'm gone for a couple of days, I come back, I can smell the mustiness in the basement, and that soaks right into those books.
Yep.
So I'm always running a dehumidifier constantly. So, in fact, if you listen close, you can probably hear a small hum now. So,
all right. So,
there's his whole entire storage of all of his comics are right there in that one box.
All of them.
All of them.
I got a couple of these. They're plastic. They're actually plastic long boxes, and they got some little locking mechanisms here to keep the books, but they open.
And there's his entire back stock, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what you're pulling from right there.
You think that he prints anything from Kraken Print?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the plastic long boxes. They're from BCW, and I take them to cons. I take these boxes to cons when I'm ready, and this is how I store them. I store them, and because they're in plastic, they're pretty much guarded against the weather. The lock boxes, the pretty tight up top. Not a lot of water's getting in there. And yeah, I mean, this is what I use. But I would again, these are BCW. It's basically protect, store, display. But I think it's just a baseball card. These be baseball card warehouse or something like that. That's where it started. Anyway, though, I recommend these boxes, and two that you can take them to cons.
And they probably aren't cheap either, are they?
$25, I think.
Yeah,
just about.
When a long box is how much? A normal cardboard long box?
Probably like $12.
Yeah,
if that. Yeah,
about twice the cost to have the plastic.
For a long box? For a cardboard long box is $12.
When's the last time you bought a long box, Lewis?
Let's see here.
But it wasn't that much.
I sincerely mean that because you probably haven't bought one in a while.
Let's see here.
Maybe a year.
A year? Yeah,
they're probably not that expensive, but they're getting close. I remember back in the day they were all $3 a piece.
I see one here for $6.30, but it's not assembled.
And you got a lid.
You know what I'm thinking too? I'm sorry, Lewis. I was thinking when you said Randy asked, I think about my personal comics are in those drawer boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that slide open like a drawer.
Right.
Yeah, they were like $12-13.
Okay.
People would kill me if they saw my personal comic collection. No bags, no boards, just long boxes stuffed, over here in the corner. I've got very few books that are bagged and boarded.
Yeah, mine are all bagged and boarded.
That includes my giant size X-Men 1, which I need to get bagged and boarded.
Yeah.
But your giant size man thing is bagged and boarded, isn't it?
No, but my giant size man thing is always bagged.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
Safety at all times.
Dave, that's called the BCW plastic box.
They now owe you a sponsorship fee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just sold a ton of them boxes.
Yeah. I'm gonna
because they looked at that and went, "Those boxes are cool."
Yeah. I'm gonna.
What was that company again?
Yeah, it's the. They actually. 1 second. These you don't want to make an accident and get their other plastic box. Hold on.
You never make an accident.
Yeah, no, you never want an accident.
That's another Art Fisher story.
Anyway. There we go. And they also have some plastic partitions you can buy for that. Each box comes with like 2 of them, I think. But yeah. Where's the short comic book bin? I'll put it up on the screen for you. And then there we go. There it is. The short comic book bin, heavy duty, acid free plastic, stacked up to 6 high, includes 1 black comic book bin partition, and
that looks like an automotive toolbox.
They are
industrial safety and supply.
Yeah. I think me and Eric did an unboxing of one, and I think we did an unboxing of one a while ago, but if we didn't put it up on IndieVolt, I will get it edited and put it up there. But yeah, they're on the IndieVolt YouTube.
Does that come assembled?
No, it does not. You have to
put it together yourself.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. They do come in a handy 6-pack though.
Where? Oh, yes, right here. Yeah.
No, back one more.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Boom, or a 5-pack, I should say.
5
to a carton.
Yeah, buy 5
easily shippable. Yeah.
If you buy 5, $16.77 a piece. But I do know a couple of people who come into the Comic-Con and they have these box. They have these.
What's that? 5 knocks it down to about $100 for a box of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Randy's thinking about redoing his whole collection.
Oh.
Yeah. A couple $100 or couple $100 to get Randy all. Randy's about $1,000. He can.
I would drive CGC insane if I sent him in to get slabbed. Who the fuck treats their books like this? Sorry. Here's a giant size X-Men 1. It's in 10 pieces. Yeah.
Have we rated a book this low before?
Yeah.
This is a 0.0000000.
Negative 0.9. That's what this is. A negative 0.9.
Negative 0.9.
Yeah.
I was being generous. I'm
not. I know what condition that book is in.
Are you? Yeah,
I could still sell it.
So that's how we store our books. That's the best way to store, especially if you're storing them for sale. To
It'd be the lowest one on their site. They're going through 9.6, 9.7, 9, negative 0.9. Who the hell's got that book?
It would be a collector's item.
50 cents.
It'd be a collector's item.
It'd be a collector's item.
What poor shape it's in.
Who is that story? And I'm paraphrasing, so I might not have all the facts right. Where the girl took somebody's, I think it was a Spider-Man 14, first appearance of Green Goblin, and wrote in large felt marker that she was breaking up with the guy. And the guy went and had it slabbed and sold it because of the provenance. It went for a higher price. Because the grade on it was really bad because she had really defaced that cover.
Oh God!
It's like, I'm leaving you, Ben. Magic marker.
I'll tell you guys a funny story.
He said it and got it slabbed anyway. Put it up for auction.
This guy told me, he says, "Hey, you ought to come check out this X-Men comic I got. It's in." I'm like, okay, well, I like X-Men. My favorite character is Wolverine. So, well, you got to check out this. I got the first appearance of Wolverine.
In an X-Men comic.
Oh no, in the Wolverine, the Hulk, the whole.
Okay, 183.
181.
Is it 181?
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm gonna come see it. So he says, "Well, if you come and get it today, I'll give you a good deal, only $500." And I'm like, that's a good deal for that book. So I go over to the guy's house, and he comes out of his living room. Oh yeah, I got the books right here. And as he picks up the books, I guess he grabs the cover to the Hulk incorrectly and picks the book up. The cover ripped right down the spine there, like a good 4, a good maybe 3 inches.
Wow.
And he's like, oh, he lets out a couple of expletives, and he's like, oh man, and he looks at me and he's holding the book. I wish I had a comic to show you guys, because he looks at me like this. If this is the book, and it's got this big rip in it, and he's like, $275. It was just literally
$2.75, maybe.
No. It's a bargain.
$275. Like,
do I hear two? two. Can I get 175? 175.
Randy, would you let Mike Carbonaro into your basement?
Who?
Mike Carbonaro. You never seen Mike Carbonaro?
Who?
Mike Carbonaro is a guy. He has a show. He has it on. It's
The
on
name's
Con.
familiar.
You ever seen Con TV?
Con TV.
Anybody hit it? Sign up with the streaming service Con TV. It's free. Jesus. Well, it's Con TV. It's comics all the time. Yeah.
Don't look at us bad, buddy. You, up until a month or so ago, you had no idea who Wally Wood was.
No.
He's a magician, right?
No. That's the other Carbonaro.
See that X-Men one? Poof, poof, gone.
Here it is.
Nothing up my sleeve. Poof.
It's so messed up.
Now it's a Ms. Marvel too. Poof.
Yeah.
Watch, my friend.
That's well. This guy,
it's the life of Captain Marvel #2. Woof.
Let's see if I can get a video to play, and you guys will.
That would be hilarious.
Let's see here.
We told this big comic collector that famous magician Mike whoever was a big time collector. We're gonna watch. He's a master of sleight of hand. Wow, that's an awesome giant size X-Men 1, but what's Miss America doing on it? What?
That's messed up.
Suddenly, poof, it's Squirrel Girl 15.
Oh! The Atlantic City Comic Book Convention.
It's that Mike
Carbonaro, and my company is David Adams Card World.
Oh man, I know this guy.
And why am I here?
Okay.
Because
I'm sorry.
All this stuff. I want to buy everything that you
I know this guy.
Comic books, toys, collectibles.
Is he out of New York?
Sell too. Very nice investment.
He's I'm not sure where, but
copies.
No, he's out. I swear he's out of New York. He's been a big time dealer for years.
This is when he was gray. first issue.
That's
He was
awesome. He's got his own channel,
gray.
huh?
GR, I think the printer made a mistake.
Well,
Nonetheless,
not
he
his
was
own channel.
green in the second issue. First appearance of Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 15.
Not as his own channel, but he has his own show on Con TV.
He's collecting for decades.
Well,
decades.
He
If
goes
it's the same.
he goes around and he offers people money on their comic book collection. And you love it,
Yeah.
right? Because he goes into somebody's house and he digs up all these treasures. And he's treasures.
I haven't seen him in years. I can tell you the last time I saw him, though, and I don't mean to boast. It was 2011.
Okay.
No. 2001.
Okay.
2001. Okay.
When did 9/11 happen?
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
It was 2001. I saw him in October 2001. I did a show in New York.
Okay.
Mm.
And this guy had a Marvel Comics #3 that was slabbed,
Mhm.
and he threw it at me. And he knew who I was. He said, "Hey, Randy, catch!" And I caught it and I dropped it on the floor. And I went, "Holy crap, dude! What are you doing there?" And he laughed. And he's got a cackle. He said, he says, "You couldn't have heard it if you threw it back at me." You know,
Mhm.
because it was slabbed.
Yeah.
He thought it was hilarious. Anyway, he's a good guy. I haven't seen him since then. That's the last time I've seen him.
Yeah, I was gonna. He has a show on on Con TV.
Well, good for him.
And if you check, and he goes to people's houses and he goes to their collection. They him and haw a little bit, and then he normally gets their collection for $1,000 or a little bit less.
Well, he's been a big time dealer for decades.
Yeah,
big
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Dave says I need to see Randy's comic book haul, and then Michael Beacon says I love his work on Tales from the Crypt. Are you?
Who, Michael?
Yeah.
He's been around. He's got to be older than me, man. He's got to be, and that's old. That's old. God bless him. That's awesome. I'm glad he's got a show, and that I hope he's doing real well.
Awesome book.
He's
This is a low grade copy, and this is a high grade copy. Runs the gamut from $7,000 to $57,000. Anyhow, if you've got collectibles or want to have a great time, come down to the comic book convention, and we'll be here to tell you what your comic books are worth. Wow. Ever since I was a kid, I literally bought and sold comic books and made a living and enjoyed myself. And made.
And it looks like he's still got most of his hair too. That's awesome.
Saturday, I was in New York and I went to see The Age of Ultron. But actually, there was another movie called Age of Adeline. So I was too tired to walk out, so I caught that one instead.
That was at the local porn theater.
Sunday morning.
No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Michael will never come on our show now.
What theater house did he go to? No, he's a really good guy, and he's just goofy and anyway, good for him. He's got a good gig.
I was gonna ask, would you let him in your basement?
Yeah, I'd let him in.
You know he's gonna offer you money. He's gonna come back with a stack of books, Randy.
He can try. No, he's gonna go through my stuff and go, "Damn it! I wish you'd have kept this better."
I don't know. I've seen him buy.
This is worth X and X, and not in the condition it's in though.
I've seen him buy some really rough things on that show. Like, did you?
Well,
really?
some of that stuff you can only find in rough condition.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that stuff that he did, like you saw him just pull out. What was that? Those were Amazing Fantasy 15s, right?
Yeah. One was 1.9 and one was 8.6 or something.
Here you go. Look at this book. When's the last time you actually held a Amazing Fantasy 15 in your hands?
2004.
Yeah.
Take it a run. Give me that.
Yeah. You could try. This is a spam call. I shall return.
Okay. I love spam. I wonder if you're gonna cook me a spam sandwich. If my wife is watching, could you please cook me a spam sandwich today? Do we have any spam? I have to go to the market and buy spam. Anyway, Lewis.
Yeah.
Comic related question for you. Okay. And this was in our email.
This is Big Jim from Cardholder Services.
And this is a question for all of us. And I guess
you hold those cards for us.
And here we go, guys.
I haven't had a credit card since 2005. I still get called about my account.
This gentleman is wow. Okay, Bill W. Says that he has never he can't afford art materials. And he does admit to going to his local he's a Michigan boy.
Mm-hmm.
He admits to going to his local art store. His local.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
shoplifting.
Oh,
Ooh.
don't do that.
Yeah.
No,
He wants to know
no.
if we've ever shoplifted for our art materials.
No.
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 However,
I just want to tell Bill, don't do that. That's illegal. And you'll end up having your ass slammed eventually. You'll get caught. Everybody
his
does.
ass slammed.
Yeah.
Oh, the standards of practice. Here they go.
And that you'll be in jail too.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
For that. Yeah. That's not good. If you go back on Comic Artist Pro Secrets, back maybe a year or two back, Ethan's got a great video where he goes through Michael's and he shows you that you can get absolutely everything, and I do mean everything you need to put a comic book together for under $100. Whole pads of paper, the proper pencils, the erasers you need to look for. It's really a good video. And it's one that I thought about copying myself.
Bill, if
just because it's that good and the information.
That's video lifting, Randy. Now,
there we go. If you ever see it up there, you'll know where I got it. Well, I'll admit that I saw Ethan do this, but it was very impressive, and that he sat there and said, "You don't want this paper, you want this paper. You don't want these pencils, you want these pencils. Here's some you don't want these markers, you want this marker." You know, and he goes through checkout and everything's live and it comes out to 99 something.
Bill, if you're stealing, you're gonna get caught eventually.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it for some art supplies. And on top of that, listen, there are people in this industry that will help you if you're serious. And they will hand you, you know what, here, take this eraser, take this pencil. I give out pencils sometimes to artists. Yeah. Graphite holders. Don't steal the product. And in fact, I mean, you're asking to go to jail at some point. Yeah. At some point, you're going to get caught. Now, having said that,
everybody's been where you've been too, by the way, where they've been too poor to do whatever. And you don't have to have the best paper. You don't have to have the best materials. You can make do and still make a good, incredibly good book.
I started out on regular typing paper when I started doing,
I started out on notebook paper.
I got a friend who still does it on typing paper because he says the professional stuff isn't going to make you a better artist. I get
it. That's true. Everything's all in your talent and your ability. So your skill, your talent, and your skill.
I will say this: I'd have dabble with graffiti, and in that particular community. You're not supposed to buy your material.
What?
Graffiti. I've dabbled with graffiti, and you're not supposed to buy your material. You're supposed to rack it, which is basically stealing. You're supposed to go steal.
You're still gonna get caught.
You're gonna get caught. You're still gonna get caught. But the idea is that you don't pay for anything. So, like graffiti artists, a lot of times will order.
I don't know
copious. They'll open. They'll I'm gonna say weave. I mean, I have done some graffiti, but you order tons of priority mail stickers from the post office. They're free. Your stickers, and you color on them. You do your graffiti, and you slap them up somewhere because you didn't pay for anything. You didn't pay for them. They're free, and that's a part of it. Stealing spray paint from any store you possibly can is what you're supposed to do. But
you don't want to do that.
I've never done it. I've bought everything, just because I don't want to go to jail. I'm cute. Yeah. I'm small. I'm short. I'm cute. I can't. And I got a nice ass. I can't. I don't want somebody behind me. I'm not getting a husband. But yeah, art supplies. Buy them. Steal your style, not your art supplies.
Try not to steal your style. Either. There's too damn many people out there that try to draw like Jim Lee right now.
Now, I mean,
if you do steal your style, steal it from somebody that used to draw comics back in the 70s or 60s.
I asked the guy if a guy who owns a an art store. He didn't own it, but he's working there. And I asked him what the loss is like, and he said their loss is usually in smaller things. You know, your erasers, your pencils, your
they're easier to 5-finger.
But no one ever tries to gather off an art table. No one ever tries to.
That'd be a little bit difficult.
But he says the pencils and stuff like that, the markers, Copics especially right now. Copics, everyone is stealing Copics.
Yeah,
everybody. And he said they see things like this every couple of years because for a while everyone was stealing Montana paint.
Yeah,
that's what you wanted, and now they lock that up. So I've seen stores now locking the Copics up
Oh yeah, the Copics are all locked up these days. All the markers are.
Yeah, see, here's the problem.
Not really, but
the Prismacolors in my
where
local,
I'm at, they're locked up.
The Prismacolors in my local Michaels, they're right next to the Copics. You can touch them. You can pick them up. The fabric castles, you can pick them up and play with them in color. The Copics, you gotta ask. They can come down there. They open the case up, like a freaking crown jewel,
and they watch you. Yeah,
and then they take them up to the register. And they'll be up there ready to 5 when you're finished.
They used to do that with rapidograph sets way back in the old days.
Yep.
But that's back when each pen was $20 a hit. So
now, and then I went to a Michaels and a Hobby Lobby, and I went to another Hobby Lobby about 2 miles down from where the other one's at. And I walked in there and I'm looking around, and no, that was actually a Michaels. Yeah, Michaels, and they got their Copics in an aisle, open, free to touch and use.
Everybody's different.
I said to myself, "Oh, those are artists. Don't know those are here yet."
Right now, everything down here is in lock and key. Every marker style you got, or either that, or they'll give you the little cases. And the case is empty. There's no markers in it. If you want it, go up to the front desk and they'll get you the markers to go with it.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to pens and that, what I found that really worked for me for many years, because I haven't done anything, I rarely do anything physical anymore, is to buy in bulk. You go and you get a whole box of markers and Sharpie pens from Staples, and then you're never out of supplies.
No,
you know, you can buy those erasers at 3 erasers on a card, good white solid erasers, and just stock up when times are good, because every artist runs through periods of feast or famine.
Yeah,
and it's usually one or the other too. I found you're either really working or you're not.
Yeah, Dave says Michael. He says Hobby Lobby is open with standards with markers and airbrush equipment. They will be open for a lot of that stuff, and unfortunately, there are artists who,
until they figure out who you are.
Yeah. There are artists. I'll tell you this. I went into U-Trick downtown, and I went with a buddy of mine I won't name, who was a graffiti artist. And I was looking for a graphite holder. I had an office downtown at that point. I left my art material at home, but it was a big drawing day, so I had to go to the art store to buy just a graphite holder. I had graphite at the office, no pencil. And I went to the art store, and I picked up this pencil. And my buddy, who's with me, he constantly jokes that he's an Hispanic that passes for white. We walk in U-Trick together. They are following me. The minute I've never had great service. I walk in the store. Can I help you? I'm just looking for graphite. Let me show you our selection. They lead me down the aisle to the graphite. They leave him totally alone.
Well, they might have recognized you too.
No, they didn't.
You might have been on videotape before.
I had never gone to that store.
Taking their spray paint.
Perhaps that was. They led me right to the graphite holders.
It's the true tail man.
No, that's just shitty profiling.
Well, the thing was, while they were watching me, my buddy was over there, unbeknownst to me, filling his satchel full of needed erasers and other stuff, and I'm over there, trying to buy an $8 pencil. That's okay. That's what you get. Profiling me. Anyway, guys, we're reaching that.
Anyway, there's a lot of ways to raise money for art supplies, and believe me, if you go up and honestly tell a comic shop, or even you can even try to teach art classes at Michael's and barter exchange for art supplies. There's a lot of ways that you don't have to shoplift in order to get what you need.
Yeah.
A comic shop, and say, hey, can I draw something for you? Can I draw a picture? I'm trying to buy art supplies. And if the art shop guy, or if the comic shop guy's got any type of empathy at all, he's probably going to want to help you out.
Yeah, that, and find cheaper avenues. Some of these art stores, stuff is priced in a way that might make it unaffordable.
Back when I was a kid, I couldn't afford comics, and that meant I was extremely poor, because comics were 35 cents. So I talked my drugstore guy into letting me every time I walked home from school. I used to walk 2 hours or 2 miles home from school. I'd stop into the drugstore and straighten out his comic shelf, and every Thursday I got to put up the new comics. And for that, I got $1 worth of comics. I got 3 comics out of it, just by walking. I'm walking past his store anyway. I'm walking in, straightening the shelves. And every Friday, I'd hold a few books up to him, and he'd just wave, and I'd wave, and gone. And the ladies there that would run the counter loved it because they didn't want to deal with comics. And that not only did that give me free comics, but it also gave me free reign when the comic bundle came in. I was able to pull out the stuff I needed and put it to the side and display the comics for them. They loved it.
Yeah.
So I did that for at least a good year and a half.
Yeah, and Bill, I don't know how old you are, but
get creative as you're drawing and figure out a way to buy your supplies, buddy.
Yeah, and you're in Michigan.
It works out so much better.
You're in Michigan. You can always contact us on social media. You're in Michigan. I wouldn't mind helping you out. I got some supplies I could probably spare. Help you out.
That's what we should start putting care packages together and make them available at shows.
Yeah.
Contact us, and we got because I got 5 pads of paper that have been sitting here for a year.
Yeah.
So 5 pads of Bristol because I would stock up when I was walking. Plus, you hit these Michaels, you get on Michael's mailing list, and they take 40% off, 50% off of one item.
Yeah,
40 to 70%.
Yeah, depending upon what week or what month or week you catch them on, just
daily.
Pay attention to the deals. A lot of times you can even find somebody in line who's got a coupon they'll slide you. There's a will, there's a way. Believe me, it shouldn't be stealing.
Yeah, no. Dave the Supreme says I teach some class for kids up in Michael's and got some nice discounts. Yeah, so
they only gave you discounts, Dave. God damn them people. They should give you a stipend to take stuff out from.
You can goddamn Michael's, but you can't goddamn.
I'm sorry. That's standards and practices again.
You can't do that Hobby Lobby. They're Christian.
You can damn them too, even though they're Christian. But that's a whole nother matter.
I
shouldn't have said that, and I apologize because I've wanted to teach. The last time I went into Michael's and offered to teach cartooning classes, I got this deer in the headlight look, and nobody would be interested in that. It's like, okay. I mean, I teach in the schools for X amount an hour, and that's
nobody would be interested though.
Nobody'd be interested.
No,
it's all good.
Yeah. Again, Bill, don't steal.
Please,
people, and because you don't want to, because you might get away with it tomorrow and the next day, but at some point you're gonna get caught and you're gonna get your ass slammed and you'll be in jail too.
What are you in for, kid? Well, I tried to steal some Bristol board. Yeah,
bend over.
I didn't say that.
that's how it goes. Try to steal Bristol board, bend over. So yeah,
what the hell's a Copic marker, kid? I killed 5 people
with a Copic marker.
It's
between the eyes.
It's funny too because we
don't mean to encourage violence here.
No. I want to know where you stashed
it. What do you think I've been doing this whole time subliminally?
Yeah.
My wonder opener.
I want to know where he's been stashing those markers too to get them out the store.
Pardon?
I'm making fun of the situation.
Please nobody deserves that. Everybody ends up paying by higher prices in the long run, or at least that's what they tell you every time they make the excuse to jack the prices up. So.
Yeah. And we have never stolen our art supplies. We've always got them.
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, we've always got them. I sometimes wait for clearance though. It's like a steal, but a bargain. Check Ollie's too. Sometimes Ollie's has pencil papers, packs of paper. Yep. Check there. Anyway, guys,
Michael's at least once or twice a year runs a BOGO anyway. Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
So I'm guys, sure Hobby Lobby does the same thing.
Yeah. We have reached the 2-hour mark, so it is time for us to bid everyone adieu. Thank you for joining us today. Keep your eyes on indievault.com for our continuing coverage. Go ahead.
What are you working on today?
I will be working on some website stuff, as well as continue my investigation into the warehousing situation, as well as hopefully getting around to knocking out a page or so of my book, which I desperately want to get done because I desperately want to get it to everybody.
Sweet.
At this point, Ethan is beating me, and I can't have that. He's beating me. Yeah. I started before him, and He's delayed and he's still beating me. I can't believe this. So yeah, but I don't have anybody waiting for my book either. So
There you go.
That'll change. That'll change.
No hardcore crowdfunding.
No,
Yeah.
damn it.
What are you working on, Lewis?
Well, today I'm taking my dad to physical therapy and to the base to get some medicine. And then I don't know what I'm doing when I get home. Probably going to start answering questions from readers for Quote the Raven for next week. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And
I'm doing promotional for the September 14th show. Then I'm coming back here to put a bunch of stuff together for the show. We've got some nice surprises and giveaways that we're putting together.
Cool.
Those door prizes, I may have helped. I may have helped with some of those door prizes.
We're just going to be giving it away.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
So I'm thinking when I announce it on the site, it's like, does this mean we're bribing you to come to the show? It says, heck yes, it does. Come to the show and get like $10 worth of books just as you for paying your $5 admission. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. All right, guys. I will see you all. I'm pretty sure I'll talk to you guys offline.
And thanks again to the Indie Volt Radio listeners for still looking for comics that you're reading and recommendations, especially if you live and you're listening outside of the United States.
Yeah.
Love to know what your favorites are and what you're into.
We actually did get one of those emails in. I was going to save it to Tuesday.
Yeah, do that. That'll be good.
Yeah, we got one of those emails in. So I
try to find some pictorial reference and talk about that property.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard with this one, but yeah,
you'd be amazed what comes up on Bing unless it's porn.
So yeah,
and even then it's up there.
So yeah.
You don't want to show it to YouTube. I have been told that YouTube is going through and changing their bylaws again on their broadcasting stuff, especially when it comes to what they consider to be kids content. So I'm not sure if that's going to involve all comic book content or not. All depends on how stuck up what they have they're behind and what they want to classify as kids books. But it's very likely that comic book content won't have notifications or chat availability shortly on YouTube. Starting at the start of the year. So they're not sure exactly because the definitions that YouTube are giving are, as usual, vague as crap.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys.
Might be a story worth keeping track of.
We'll keep track of it and put it up on indievault.com. And
especially
again,
considering the chokehold that DC or Warner's and AT&T have on the corporate structure, or Disney, I should say, and AT&T has on the corporate structure.
Right.
Yeah.
All of us little guys might have to find other means.
Yeah. Well, there's always Venmo. Not Venmo. Oh crap, what's the other one? There's another site. Venmo is Cash App, or like a Cash App.
There are a couple of other
Vimeo.
Yeah, there are a couple of other video sharing platforms out there now.
Yeah.
Ever since YouTube started tightening their laws, it's just like the comic business. When you start hitting rules and regulations, you get creative people doing creative things to creatively work their way around.
Have you move over to Twitch? I have a Twitch channel, but yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys if there's no breaking news, and there probably will be. We'll see you guys. Our regular schedule programming is Tuesday at 9 p.m. And we always have the Breakfast Buzz on Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
You have your Indie Volt card that you can run before we leave with your websites on it?
I can pull that up real quick.
You should pull that up and invite people if they have a story in independent comics or comics in general that you are there to do journalism, and especially in the indie market, especially for those stories that nobody else seems to want to cover, which is what that those emails seem to be alluding to.
Yeah.
So there's a reason that you're there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we, again, we're there for that. We're there to make sure that
to provide a service more than just your typical press release shilling.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to make people. We're not here to be the bad guys and run people down, but I want to keep, we keep them honest if we have to. So if you haven't gone to indievolt.com, here is the site. Indievolt.com has a bunch of independent comic news. There, we cover breaking news. That's when Randy dared Diamond to have a retailers conference.
That's old news, which of course has gone unheeded. So.
Yeah. We do. We have our music selection. Now you can actually listen to Indie Vote Radio right here on the site. If you don't know that, there it is, right there. Don't know what's playing right now, but yeah. Oh, yes, I do. 1979 is playing. We got movie news, and as well as you can watch Indie Vote live broadcast. So our Tuesday night show, you can watch them right there on the site too. It still counts for those.
You need to put that breakfast buzz up there too, man.
I might have to.
Should run them back to back per week, you know,
yeah.
And have an archive. You need to have an archive too of connections.
Oh yeah. If you actually hold on one second, I said
I'm sure that if people find us entertaining and can put up with our faces, they might want to binge listen back a couple of weeks.
If you click on videos, it takes you right to
the site.
Yeah, it takes you right to and you can binge watch all of that content and see us in our beautiful glory. And let me bring up the
made for radio faces.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm pretty handsome, but let me see here. Sorry, it's taking my computer a bit of time to load because there's a lot of content in the indievolt.com site, and I believe it's actually having an effect on how quickly some of this stuff loads up for me.
Yeah.
But you can always again reach out to us, even here. If you have a question and you want to bring attention to something, or you feel as though something needs to be covered a little bit more.
And Lewis has a site starting up soon. I have a YouTube channel starting up soon, and I have the Zim Geek YouTube channel where I have over 20 videos up there and available.
Mm-hmm.
So we invite everybody, especially once Lewis gets up and running, to get up there and subscribe and take a listen.
Yep.
Beat you to it, Lewis.
Lewis is like, he beat me to it.
I just said, yep.
All right, man.
All right. So yeah, I appreciate everybody listening, and then we will also where in the heck? I'm sorry, I tried to put up some IndieVolt TV. You can check that out on your Roku. And as well as email us any questions you have at indievoltlive@indievolt.com. We would love to hear from you. So
thanks to everybody in the chat. Also, Dave and Trico was there for a while. Michael,
Ted. Yeah. A lot of people.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. We will see you guys all very soon.
All right, man.